walk with
Give
me.
ear, O Yahweh, O ye mighty. Give unto the I am glory and strength. Give unto the I am glory due to his name. Worship the Hayah in beauty and holiness. The voice of the I am is upon the waters, and the God of glory thundereth. The I am is upon many waters. The voice of the I am is powerful, and the voice of the I am is full of majesty. The voice of the I am breaketh the cedars, yea, the I am breaketh the cedars of Lebanon. He maketh them also to skip like a calf, Lebanon and Syrian like a lion unicorn, young unicorn. And the voice of the I am divideth the flames of fire. The voice of the I am shaketh the wilderness, and the Tata and Zambi shaketh the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the I am maketh the hinds to calf, and discovereth the forest. And his temple doth everyone speak his glory. And the I am sitteth upon the flood, yea, the I am sitteth king forever. And the I am will give strength unto his people, and Sanini Nanini will bless his people with peace. Psalms chapter 29, a psalm of David. Yes, and deliver me from the hands of the evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. A prayer of Abram, Jubilees chapter 12 and 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on TikTok. I'm T. Clay 213, and YouTube, I'm Mr. Clay. And we thank God for those of you that have been with us from the beginning, yes, from the beginning, and those of you that have just come in, and some of you have been here and wondered just dares about, and you're catching up, and it's giving you more of an insight than you ever had. And we thank God for those of you that are about to subscribe. Yes, we call those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we give God the glory and the praise for all that he's done. We have to be careful in what type of people we are. Many you find in churches, they want you to follow. Different organizations, they want you to follow. That's why many times God has to take his servants and set them apart from people. Because the crowds are either following one person or a group of people that have deemed, many of them have deemed a lie the truth. But the man or the woman that would walk alone, many times, God given his truth and entrusted, and they have really caused themselves to be endoused in the truth, in their worship and their understanding of the Most High. These are the remnants. These are the people that will eventually wind up with the Most High in that great and notable day, when he shall come with 10,000s of his elect. No, it didn't say of his anointed. It didn't say on a horse and all that. Not in the book of Enoch. No. It didn't say that. You go back to the book of Enoch and read that over again. It didn't talk about no Isus either. No Jesus either, if you want to put it that way. No, it didn't say nothing like that. Didn't say no Yahushai, because when you say that, you declare that the I am, or the creator, is this man that was born of a woman, conceived from a man. This is what you're saying. God does not share with anyone. He says, see and know I am he, and beside me there is no other God. There is no Holy Spirit with God. God is the Spirit. He is holy. God has many sons. They are spirits. Even the one who wrote Hebrew declared that he maketh his messengers, or angels, spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire. And many of these proofs can be found throughout the 66 books, and in the books that those who have opposed or had some type of agenda wherein they cast out the other books that belong to this book. Yes, and we thank God for All that he's done. Now we're in the 11th chapter of Jasher. The 11th chapter of Jasher, we stopped with verse 21, yes. And now they're getting ready to put Haran and Abram into the fire, just like they did the three men they renamed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That was really their name. But anyway, in verse 22, it says, and the king's servants took Abram and his brother, and they stripped them of all their clothes. In other words, these guys were naked, excepting their lower garments. They didn't want to see their private parts, were upon them, or their loincloths, or whatever you want to call it. And they bound their hands and feet with linen cords, and the servants of the king lifted them up and cast them both into the furnace. They didn't waste no time at that time. And the I Am loved Abram. How did the I Am love Abram? Because Abram wanted to do that which pleased the Most High. He hated every false way, just God, like God did. And like we all should do, hate every false way. Yes. And not even waste our times being in the midst of sinners and those who oppose the ways of God. Why do you think in the New Testament they talked about they, the apostles and all the rest of them, didn't want to sit with sinners? They didn't want to even sit with them because the abominations that they had. Have you ever ate chicken and then somebody fried ribs next to it? Come on here. Now, in verse 24, the I Am loved Abram, and he had compassion over him. And the I Am came down and delivered Abram from the fire, and he was not burned. But all the cords with which they bound him were burned, while Abram remained and walked about the fire. You got to realize God is, some call him energy, some call him that, but God is spirit. Spirit is all that and more. All that and more. It can materialize and can dematerialize. Yes, spirit is more than what you can ever imagine. Yes. Spirit can take things from those of you who have dealt with demonic forces and found things moved and transferred from here to there. Yeah, they have the ability to pick things up and put it in a certain place. Yes. You're only given a small portion of the Spirit of the Most High. Yes, you can move things if you concentrate enough, but then you're going to mess around. You might invite another demon in there, according to your own demonic self. But anyway, but all the cords with which they were bound, and Haran died when they had cast him into the fire. Why? Hypocrite. First he was going with his brother, then he went with his father, then he went with the king. He didn't know where he was going. You have those who would follow different entities and different doctrines of belief and different political stances because the majority is going that way. But it's better to stand. In other words, it's better to die if it need be for what you believe and what God says than to fall for anything. And this is just what Haran did. Fail. Because he wanted to be wishy-washy and a hypocrite. Yes. Better to stand alone than stand in torment with a crowd of nobodies. Yes, to be somebody before the Most High. Now, he died and he was burned to ashes, for his heart was not perfect with the I Am. Hypocrite. His heart was not sincere. His heart was not complete. See, the word perfect is an ambiguous word, really, because many people have so many definitions of what perfect is. In this definition, we would say perfect, his heart was not complete with the I Am. He didn't have one purpose as to deem him as the only and one God. Yes. And those men who cast him into the fire of flame, the flame of the fire spread over them, and they were burned, and the 12 men of them died. Just like the fire. The fire was so hot. This is how those demons got in their head. We don't want them to pass. We don't need, as soon as they throw in, we want them to just go to ashes. We want it so hot. But they made it so hot it slew the men outside. And notice the 12, and then go over there to the book of Daniel and find out what happened to the three young men. They're not boys. Now, verse 27. And Abram walked in the midst of the fire 3 days and 3 nights. In other words, the presence of God. The presence of God can have you even, or the anointing or the power of God can have you walking even into the well of a fish, the belly of a fish. And the atmosphere is just like that of dry natural air. He is God. God alone. There's no Jesus with him. There's nobody sitting with him. No, he is God alone. There's no Muhammad sitting with him or no one else. He's God alone. Whether you call him Allah or you call him Tata and Zambi Sanini Nanini, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahaya, even those of you who are in America that speak that language, which means I am. Yes, alone. There's no one with him. One God. One God. And he has his angels to do his bidding. Is what the Hebrew person was trying to tell you that wrote Hebrews. He has angels to do his bidding. If Jesus did all the bidding, hypothetically, then the angels would have nothing to do. He would have no purpose for them. For they minister to those who are the heirs of salvation, even those of his elect. Come on here. We're going to talk and walk this thing. Walk with me. All right now. He would not believe them, so he sent, what he did? He said, and when the king heard their words, his heart fainted, and he would not believe them. So he sent other faithful princes to see this matter, and they went and saw it, and they told it to the king. And the king rose to go and see it, and he saw Abram walking to and fro in the midst of the fire, and he saw Haran's body burn, and the king wondered greatly. In other words, if you're going to be pleasing to God, you got to come through the fire. No, the fire ain't easy. No, it's not easy. It's a horrible thing, a sight to see. You have to come through it. Even in the Great Inquisition, there were some who were thrown into fires and they burned. Yes, many of brethren were killed by those who called themselves Christian in the Great Inquisition, and they tried to say they were Christians. No, that's the biggest lie ever told. They were people who followed the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. That's what happened, and they hated him because they wanted a God beside God. They wanted to know that they could kill God and they can become God. Come on here. Now, and when the king saw that his servant could not approach the fire lest they should be burned, the king called Abram, "Oh, servant of God," just like Nebuchadnezzar. What happened here? The same thing Nebuchadnezzar called unto Daniel, didn't he? Huh? All right, who's in heaven? Go forth from the midst of the fire and come hither. Now, Nimrod knew who God was. Nimrod knew. He even followed the Most High. But he turned wicked by listening to the auspices and the swaying of devils. To think that the things that he see are the things that made things that you see. And that's the biggest lie ever told. Now, and Abraham hearkened unto the voice of the king. You know, I'm safe in the fire. I'm safe right here where you think where you cannot come. I'm safe. I'm safe in the arms of the Most High. Regardless of whether this fire has killed me or not, I am safe. I'm safe in life and I'm safe in death. Come on here. He says, now, Abraham hearkened to the voice of the king, and he went forth from the fire and came and stood before the king. And when Abraham came out, the king and all his servants saw Abram coming before the king with his lower garments upon him. And his loincloth or whatever you want to call them, for they were not burned. In other words, God knew that was their shame. Did not he make the skins, and did not he kill an animal and put skins around them to hide the shame of Adam and Eve? Huh? And the king said to Abram, how is it that thou was not burned in the fire? Now see, this is a dumb saying. And Abraham said to the king, the God of heaven and earth, in whom I trust. In other words, I trust him where I can't see him. he's not there. Sometimes I can't feel him. Sometimes it'll be years before I feel a shaking or a humma or all this other stuff. But the God of earth, heaven and earth, the maker, the creator, I trust. I can fall backwards. Whether he catch me or not, I know that I trust him. See, look, your shame before the wicked is God's glory. You have to realize that if you trust God, let them mock, let them criticize. Even one guy I see on TikTok, he mocked at God. He mocked the way of the Most High. And I say, wow. But God is glorified in that because the devils have really messed up his mind with this Egyptology and all kind of mess and just the doubt that I don't see God now. He's not working according to my time clock. Come on here. And Abram said to the king, the God of heaven and earth, whom I trust, and who has in all his power has delivered me from the fire to which thou didst cast me. And Haran, the brother of Abram, was burned to ashes, and they sought for his body, and they found it consumed. I mean, bone and flesh, ashes. And Haran was 82 years old when he died in the fire of Kasdim. The fire of Kasdim, note. And the king, princes, and inhabitants of the land sing, Abraham was delivered from the fire, and they came and bowed down to Abram, just as he read as the man they could not kill, even on the continent of Africa. The Most High was with him. They tried everything to kill him, but they just could not kill him. See, when your trust is in the Most High, he will deliver you just for a sign unto these entities that think they're so powerful, but they're nothing. And they came and bowed down to Abram. And Abram had said to them, do not bow down to me. In other words, I'm not a God. Now, you got these preachers around here that you bow down to them. Yeah, I'm your God. Give me your money. So give me an airplane. Give me a jet. Give me something. Get swallowed up. Do not bow down to me, but bow down to God of the world. In other words, yes, he is the God of everything in the world. Now, and serve him and go in his ways, for it is he who delivered. Now, this is the good news. This is good news. This is good news. Yes, he's telling them good news. You might have think about that good news over in the New Testament, but this is good news. Bow down. He said, deliver me out of the fire, and it is he who created the souls and spirits of all men. He's telling them the gospels. Yes, he is. And formed man of his mother's womb and brought him forth into the world. And it is he who delivered those who trust in him from all pain. And this thing seemed very wonderful in the days. It seemed very wonderful in the eyes of the king of the princes. And Abram was saved from the fire that Haran was burned. And the king gave Abram many presents. And he gave him 2 head servants and from the king's house. And the name of one was Oni, and the other one, sort of remind me of something. But anyway, and the name of the other one was Eliezer. And all the king's princes and servants gave Abraham many gifts, silver and gold, pearl, and the king and his princes. Now, this is the way some of you, because you go and give these preachers and all this thing, you're a pagan. What are they giving all these things? What did Abram tell them? Serve God. I don't need all this stuff. But they gave it to him. And his princes sent him away, and he went in peace. And Abram went forth from the kings in peace, and many of the king's servants followed him. About 300 men joined him. In other words, they following him. Oh, this is the man whom God is with. That's true. Okay, you can follow the man whom God is with. But the fact is, if you're going to see to his needs, don't overdo it. If he says enough is enough, that's enough. And Abraham returned on that day and went to his father's house, he and the men that followed him. And Abraham served the I am his God all the days of his life, and he walked in the ways and followed his law. And with that, we're going to say,